creating the life you want, one habit at a time. That's what I'm going to talk about today. For many of us, we want to change things at the beginning of a new year. You know, it is 2025. We've all celebrated the new year. We've rung it in. And a lot of us are thinking about, I need to make some changes. I need to adjust some things in my life. So, for example, exercising, eating healthier, getting more sleep. You might want to read more, or you might want to learn about plants and gardening or things like that. So maybe you'd like to do a number of different things. The whole thing is one at a time, or maybe two at a time. You might be able to, but but we need to try to not do everything at once. I've done that before where I have made a list of I wanted all these things, and then I start trying to do all of those things, and it's like, yeah, I'm not going to get that all done. There's no way. So then that list kind of goes. So I did a 2-part video about a vision board. So, and I've done that. This is my second year for doing a vision board. The first year, it really helped me to focus in on what the things were that I wanted to do in the upcoming year. Did I succeed at all of them? No. Partially because life changed for us and we moved, and there were a lot of things that I couldn't do. But that's okay, because I completed quite a few things that were on my list, even with everything else that we had come forth to us. So I made another vision board. I do have a 2-part video on that if you wanted to go check that out. That kind of explains why I do it and how it helps me. You don't have to do a board. You can make a list. You can just say, I want to focus on these 3 or 4 things for this year, and top to bottom, however you wanted to do that. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Just kind of doing it one at a time, gradually, and kind of figuring out how we can do that and what's going to make it easier. My name's Chris Brandt, and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, thank you so much for joining me. If you're somebody who's been here before and you've come back, thanks so much for coming back. I think I just hit my microphone. I got a little pamphlet in the mail that kind of triggered me to talk about this. It kind of goes along with my vision board, and then doing it one habit at a time. I really love that whole and it kind of goes through this. I read this whole thing, and it kind of goes through. So I made some little notes for myself. You have to become self-aware. Like, you have to have self-awareness of yourself. Identify what the triggers are behind what your habits and why you do certain things, what your behaviors are. And then you can focus on maybe changing them or tweaking them, however. For example, do you get on social media to avoid a stressful situation, or to avoid, doing the laundry, or cleaning up this thing, or putting your clothes away, or whatever it might be? Do you do something in place of, or do you turn on the TV and start watching your favorite program, knowing that you've got this in here to do? And then, that was me. When we moved here to Missouri, I purposely didn't get cable TV. I didn't get television because I was, and I'm going to say kind of, I don't want to say addicted or whatever, but I was very much, I loved Food Network. That just ran on my television all the time. I had it on, and there were times I would just get sucked into that, and that's all I did. And I was like, I really wanted to do this today, but I got focused in on watching that and whatever. And I love Food Network, I still do, but I um, I purposely did not get cable TV for that reason, because I just didn't want to. And it wasn't just Food Network, it was other little programs that I like to watch. And so I thought, if I don't have that, I'm not going to, it's not going to be something that I go to instead of doing this. So now that I don't, now I still have like my subscriptions to Hulu and Netflix and whatever. If I want to watch something, I can, but it has to be, I have to, it's a thought. Do I want to turn that on or do I not, So that was one thing that I did. That was a step I took for myself. I'm not going to get that, I'm not a big TV watcher anyway. My husband and I do like to watch movies, but that's more in the evening, when we sit down and we're ready to just kind of relax, and we watch a movie. And then I did start 30 minutes before going to bed. I've started reading. I heard turning off all electronic type stuff 30 minutes before you go to sleep helps your sleep. And I kind of enjoy it. I just, it's not a self-help book. It's not a thought-provoking book. It's just a book that is something I don't want to say make-believe, but it's, it's not something that's going to make me ponder about, oh, how am I going to do that? Or how is that going to work? That's not what the book's about. It's just supposed to be something that takes your mind off of and kind of lets your eyes adjust from the computer screen or the television or your phone or whatever, and to just regular, normal, whatever. So it's helped me, and I kind of enjoy it. It's a regimen that I'm doing now, and I like it. So when you understand what drives you, your actions, like I understood, I have the TV, I have the Food Network right here, I can turn it on, and I had to understand that because I had it, I did it. So I don't have it, so I don't do it. So I tend to pull myself into other, I have a piece of hair in my eye. I tend to pull myself into the other things that I need to do, that I should be doing, rather than, and there are days that I'm just like, I'm going to do whatever I want. I don't care. I'm going to just do what I want. So you want to start small. That's the other thing. Just start small, like baby steps. There was a movie years ago with Bill Murray, and it was called What About Bob? And he was very neurotic, and that was one of my favorite movies. It's so funny. And they talk about baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. So that's basically, when I read this on the card, start small. That's what I thought about, is baby steps. You want to replace one habit at a time. So instead of trying to do a complete overhaul of everything all at one time, which I've tried and it doesn't, I had a list of all kinds of things I wanted to do. Declutter, get organized, all of these things that I wanted to do, and I just, it becomes overwhelming. So you end up just saying, well, I'm not going to do any of it. So my husband and I, probably, I want to say 10 or 12 years ago, we completely cut out soda. No more soda. We decided that, we drank diet soda all the time. Big, like the big gulps of soda. And we just decided we weren't going to be doing it anymore. And of course, we flip-flopped back and forth. We went from iced tea to soda, and then it got to a point where it was like, I don't really need the soda or want the soda anymore. So we have not drank soda since then, which I'm really proud of that myself. So we drink like unsweet tea, and we did go from soda to sweet tea, and then from sweet tea to unsweet tea, and so yeah. So that's what I think we started small. We just did that one thing. So there are things like when we moved here, I made a lot of little changes when we moved here. I had never moved to another state. We had moved different houses, but I moved from one state to one state over. And I just felt like it was time. Plus, I had just turned 60 years old. So, I started walking, which that was super easy because every morning I made that part of my morning routine, walking, and then, consciously making sure that I park out to where I have to walk a little bit farther to get into any store that I go to. Plus, it's easier to find a parking space that way. And then I do consciously every single morning I really created a morning routine for myself when we moved here. I get up, I get my coffee, I make my bed, I do my Bible study, and then I would do my walk. And then the rest of the day is pretty much for me to do whatever else I've put in there. But those are the things that I have to get completed in the morning before I even start going on my way. So this year I have some other things that I have added to my vision board. I have my little vision board in here. All the same things are on there that the walking, the Bible study, and making my bed, those are the things that I will continually start my day with. One of the things that I have added to my vision board is I need to increase my water. I need to just drink more water, water. I've read so many things about how much water we need, and basically what I've come away with is if you think you're drinking enough water, you're not. You need to drink more water. So, that's no matter how much they say that you're supposed to drink, you need to drink more than that. So I've got my big gulp type, my cups that I carry around with me all the time. And it's marked on there when I start in the morning. It's a 40 ounce in the morning, and then I refill it by noon. I'm refilling it. A couple of days ago, I kind of kept track of how many times I refilled it and how many times. I did 4 times I refilled. So I felt pretty good. Now, do I do that every single day? I don't know. Because I'm not going to be that anal about how often I refill my cup. But if I can do 2 times a day, which I'm pretty sure I'm good at that, that's 80 ounces of water. I'm sure I do more than that, but I at least try to get that much in. But that's one thing that, whenever I read anything about, how much water should you drink in a day, it's it doesn't matter. It's like you still have to drink more. So that's something else. Starting small is good. So especially if it's something that is somewhat of a major change in your life, like drinking soda every day. If that's your morning thing, because I do drink coffee in the morning, I have 1, maybe 2 cups of coffee in the morning. But I know coffee is a throughout the day drink for most people. So if you're trying to cut back on that, do that gradually, because that's going to affect your mood. That's going to, because it's kind of a withdrawal that you go through. And that's what when we quit soda, that we kind of weaned ourselves off of it. If it is something like, you're wanting to start walking, you're wanting to start getting out and being a little bit more active, do it gradually. Joining a gym is great, but sometimes that's not the first step, okay? It might just be getting out and walking up and down your street, or if you do want to join a gym, walk around the track. Most gyms have a track. Whatever it is, just start gradually. And if it's starting to eat better, start eliminating some of the fast food trips or wherever, and replacing it with something more nutritious, bringing your own snacks to work, or whatever it might be. But just start small, and that's basically use positive reinforcement. use a positive reinforcement. So, if you go for a whole week and you only have like 2 sodas or something like that, be proud of yourself, give yourself a pat on the back or do something, even if it's like create a slip of paper that says I made it, or mark it on the calendar, put a sticker on the calendar like we did with our kids when they were little. If you do this all week long and you get a star on every single day, sometimes we have to go back to that for ourselves too. I got a star for this day, I got a star for this day, I got a star for this day. Reward yourself in some way at the end of the week, not by having a soda or whatever it is that you've tried to take away, but with something else that might make you, but positive reinforcement. That's, you want to stay focused and you want to stay motivated to continue the next, think about how you feel. If you have eliminated something from your life, like soda or caffeine or something like that, or you've cut down on it, try to think about, I am sleeping better, or I am a little more focused during the day on this or that without having, whatever it might be. If you're trying to eliminate the fast food, how does it make you feel? Do you feel better that you're not eating, the going through the drive-through? How much, maybe you have more money at the end of the week because you're not, doing that. So just positive reinforcement. And try to make it like, I'm just going to eliminate my lunchtime fast food. I'll still go through and do something for breakfast. It's the whole baby step thing that we need to keep in mind, is you don't want to just cut it all out, because then you're making a major life change, by eliminating all of these different things. One thing at a time, one habit at a time. That's all we need. Your environment plays a big role in changing your habits. So make sure that you rearrange your living area, or like your kitchen. If your kitchen is full of sugary snacks, or if you've got a pantry full of soda and all of that, you might want to just kind of weed that out a little bit. Maybe put it someplace else in another room or whatever, and so that you're not looking at it, you're not seeing it, and then replace it with something that is more of a positive, that might help you. So removing the temptations is basically what I'm saying. Removing any kind of temptation. If you're trying to quit smoking, you're not going to have a carton of cigarettes sitting there. You're going to try to remove that temptation and replace it with something else. I don't know, I was not a smoker, so I don't know what that would be like. But with removing the soda from us, it was a don't even buy it. Believe me, when I drove past the place I used to get my big soda, I was like, oh, you start getting that taste, you start getting that sensation, and it's like, no. So that's why I got my own jug that I put what I want in there. And I do water, mostly water, and then I like the ice drinks. They're just grape raspberry is my favorite, and I just put a little splash of that in there to give the water some flavor, and that's what I drink. And then focus on your progress. As you go, you want to focus on the progress you're making. That's the same thing with, I think it kind of goes with positive reinforcement. You want to say, you know what? I didn't even want to have that today. I didn't even want to have that today. And when you go to the grocery store, if you're trying to focus on better eating habits or whatever, try not to go to the bakery aisle. And I know sometimes that's so hard when you walk into the grocery stores these days, because the bakery is just smelling, everything smells like cakes and whatever. So I try to, meander my way around all of that. And then think about what you want to replace it with before you get to the store, okay? Before you get to doing what you're doing, figure out what you want to replace um, that cinnamon roll with. What is it that I can replace it with that's going to, give me that same. Now, believe me, you're going to have to adjust a lot of things when you go to do that. Especially when it comes to anything eating or drinking, your taste buds are going to have to be adjusted for sure. Um, if it's something about decluttering or being more organized or whatever, figure out what it is. I know my husband and I, when we come in the house, we have a table and everything, we just kind of put all of our stuff on the table. Well, at one point we both look at the table and go, oh my gosh, what is all of that? And usually it's just clutter. It's just stuff that we haven't quite gotten it back to the place that it needs to be put. I'm really focusing in on, my purse. When I come in, I set my purse on that table. Well, I have my own uh, office area, and I've really been trying hard to bring my purse back to there and setting it in there so that it's out of the main room and it's not just sitting there all day. Because it doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be sitting right there. Putting our keys, we have a container, putting our keys in our wallet, and my husband has his own stuff that he puts there. So we're just kind of really trying to do that. But basically, if you're wanting to make some changes for 2025, if you're wanting to get more organized and you're wanting to do a little more self-help, eating better, sleeping better, all of it, do it one habit at a time. Just focus on what is the one thing that you want to change first. What is that one thing that really bothers you and that you think that you need to bet? That's what you need to focus on first. And that's why I do the vision board. I can put all of those things on that board, but that's not saying that within this year I have to accomplish every single thing. If I don't accomplish something, it's not going to matter. Now, if you have a health issue or something like that, and then yes, you're going to want to really accomplish that this year. But I just thought that that was such an interesting way when I got that card in the mail that said, creating the life you want, but one habit at a time, by changing one habit at a time. There's nothing that says that we have to do everything all at once, but that's kind of the way we are now. Everything has to be done now and quickly, and but it really doesn't. You can do, and you have to focus on that. And once you can do that, then you can add in another one and another one and another one. And you'll be able to, will we ever be 100% at where is there anybody that sits down and says, I have accomplished everything I want to accomplish? I don't think so. I'm not that person. There's always going to be things that I'm going to want to do. There are things like right now, living in the Midwest, I have gardening and things like that on my vision board, but that's not going to be able to start until the springtime when everything thaws out, because we are getting major snow right here, right now. And that's okay, because then I could focus on things indoors that I need to do, like the organizing and getting things, getting rid of things, and donating things to places that may need things, which I have a lot of that. And that is basically going to be my focus since we've gotten all the Christmas decorations down and just kind of weeding all of that out. But, I'm going to do the baby steps. I'm going to create the life that I want by doing things one habit at a time, changing things. And I would love to hear your comments. I would love to hear the steps you might be taking, or the things that you might be wanting to create differently in 2025. It's going to be a great year. It's going to be, I keep saying 2025 is my year to thrive. So, that's kind of what I'm wanting to do. And I would love to hear if you like what I've said, if you like my channel, subscribe and like the click the little like button too, and come back. I've got lots more things that I'm wanting to focus on this year and talk about, and I'd love to hear your comments and know how you're going to take on creating new habits and changing and doing things one habit at a time. Have a great day. Thanks so much for joining.